No other state gets hit by hurricanes more than Florida.
We are thinking of the millions in the path of this hurricane, the Category 4 hurricane slamming into Florida's southwest coast this afternoon.
Last week, Farmers Insurance said it would stop renewing almost a third of its policies in Florida, affecting about 100,000 customers.
Wednesday, Florida's state-backed insurer Citizens may have added fuel to the fire.
Florida is no longer the affordable haven it once was.
One of the strongest September hurricanes to strike the U.S. in decades.
In today's video, I'm going to get in why you may want to consider not moving to Florida and some things that you don't know about Florida, some hidden cost about moving to Florida that you need to know before you move there. So if you're in Florida or if you're thinking about moving to Florida, I'd love to hear what your opinions are, so make sure you drop a comment below. First of all, moving to Florida has always been a dream of mine. When I first graduated high school, my dad said, "What do you want for your high school graduation present?" I said, "I want to go to Miami." We flew into Miami, Florida. It was the first time I'd ever been to Miami. It was so cool. I was wearing like sweatsuits. I'm from freaking Seattle. I'm looking at all these cool towers, amazing. I really wish I would have moved to Florida way back then. So COVID happens, we get pushed on pause. We're investing in Kansas City, and now we're thinking about moving to Florida. We've already built our house in Naples, so I wanted to go through and tell you why you may not want to move to Florida or why you may want to move to Florida. So first of all, Florida is a beautiful state, but there's a darker side to Florida that you don't know about. I'm going to get into it right now. Sadly, that most people that have moved to Florida have realized that there's some serious financial obligations that come with moving to the Sunshine State. And I'm actually going to call it the Sioux-Shine State, because one of the things that I learned, and I was talking to a cop one day, he goes, "Welcome to the Sioux-Shine State." I said, "Why do you call it that way?" He goes, "We have more class action lawsuits in Florida than any other state." And that's true. Like, in fact, if you look up Stanley Rosenblatt, it was Florida versus the tobacco company. He sued the tobacco company. There's all sorts of lawsuits that come out of Florida, right? It's one of the #1 most litigious states in the country besides California. Most of all of the tropical storms hit Florida. 79% of all insurance losses come through Florida for tropical storms, filings related to hurricanes, while the rest of the United States only accounts for 21%. And one of the major things is the cost of insurance, right? Like, the cost of insurance is so high in Florida that a lot of people can't move there anymore. Like, in fact, some of the insurance companies are pulling out of Florida because why? It's too expensive. They're losing money. If they're not willing to insure there, then you have one company or two companies who are the only companies that are willing to insure there. Guess what's going to happen with their prices? Okay? If you have demand, which you do have, you're going to bring companies to market. But if all those companies are losing money, then the big companies are going to survive, and then they kind of control everything. Last year, Florida had 3 major tropical storms in Naples, Fort Myers. All of that area got wiped out. In fact, they're still damaged. Now, as a real estate investor, that's a major benefit. The other thing, did you know that in Florida, flood insurance is required? And let's talk about this whole racket of flood insurance. Just because you guys think that the government's protecting you, when they require an insurance mandate, they just made the cost of everything go up. Like, if you're looking at flood insurance being a requirement and it's FEMA that's requiring the flood insurance, they're just in cahoots with the insurance companies. It's got nothing to do with benefiting you. It's just more money for the insurance companies, all right? If you're a homeowner in Florida and you got a loan, chances are your lender is gonna require you to get flood insurance. Let's break this down a little bit more in detail. When you think you're getting insurance and you have a loan, you're really not getting insurance for you. You're getting insurance for the mortgage company. So this is why the whole farce is with owning a home is your best investment. You've got a house. If something happens to it and you have insurance, the bank is gonna get paid first, because they're gonna make sure that you don't squander that money. Just because you are required to have insurance and it's your insurance and you're the one paying the bill, who benefits if something happens? The insurance company and the bank, not you. And the reason that they require people to get flood insurance is not because every area floods, it's because they have passed laws that benefit insurance companies. So people look at laws and are like, oh, well, they passed this law, it's a good thing. Well, who the hell voted on it? It's the people that you elected to vote on it, not you voting on it yourself, right? So just because it's a new rule and you got to abide by it doesn't mean it's a good rule. Shouldn't it be like your choice whether you have flood insurance or not? Or maybe you have one bank who authorizes it, another bank doesn't. So understanding these rules and everything like that when you move into places like Florida can be a big difference, because if you're going there and you're like, oh, I'm looking at the houses right now, they're $200,000. Okay, my mortgage is gonna be X number of dollars. I didn't count on the flood insurance. I didn't count on other insurance I gotta get. Like in Mississippi, which is very similar to Florida, my insurance is through the roof. In fact, I don't insure any of my properties. And let's break this down. Mississippi, as you know, got whacked in Hurricane Katrina. I've been investing there since 2011. I haven't put insurance on my property since 2014. The most amount of money any of those tropical storms has cost me is $40,000. My insurance cost would be $100,000 a year. So in the last 9 years, I've saved almost $1 million in insurance cost, and I've paid out $40,000 for damages. That's how much of a moneymaker insurance is. And let's face it, when you get insurance in Florida and something happens, and let's say you just were part of this recent flood, what can happen that could really screw you up? Well, first of all, the insurance companies can go bankrupt, and they literally don't have to pay you. So all that money that you paid them, you're not getting any of it back. Number two, you have to fight with them to get your money. I don't know really any companies that like make claims and pay it. Like, I'll give you an example. I just got in an accident about a year ago, and they still haven't paid me. I've paid $18,000 to fix my truck, and they haven't paid me back. So we're fighting them, right? So that's why you gotta sue insurance companies, and that's why you gotta like know how to argue with them, because they just don't have to pay you, right? Just because it's a requirement to have it, like you have to have insurance on the road, but people don't have it. Like, I'll give you another example. I got hit in my wife's car driving through St. Louis. The people sideswiped me right next to Cardinal Stadium. Driving through the on-ramp, we pulled over on the side of the road. They had no insurance. So guess what? My insurance paid for it, and they got a ticket. So who suffers? The people who have insurance. Tell me what you think. Do you think that it's a requirement that everybody has insurance, or do you think it should be an opt-in? Another big reason that you should strongly consider not moving to Florida is that the property taxes are on the rise. They're going up dramatically. It's a revenue, right? So the state's looking, they're saying lots of people are coming in. We need to make more revenue. We need to build more infrastructure. So let's raise taxes. Higher taxes mean that, oh, I was planning on this being a cost, and all of a sudden I'm priced out of the market. Now Florida's not a good option for me. The other thing happens when these storms hit, you got roofs coming off, you got windows coming off, and then the contractors take a whack at you, right? Because they know, oh, well, I got 500 jobs booked out. I'm going to charge you $20,000 for a $5,000 roof. Your insurance company's like, well, we'll only pay $6,000. And so who suffers? The homeowner, right? And so as the homeowner, you got this new house, you got this new roof, you got this higher tax bill, you got this storm that rolls through, and all of a sudden you're like, why the hell did I move to Florida? So I would just say that if you're thinking about moving to Florida, you may want to consider, hey, is South Carolina or North Carolina or Georgia a better option for me, a cheaper option for me? Just consider the costs that are associated with that. And the cost of construction has not gone away. I can tell you that firsthand. We're currently building our house, and the cost of construction's gone up. So my question to you is, are you moving to Florida, or are you reconsidering moving to Florida? What part of Florida would you move to? Like, for me, the best part of Florida, in my opinion, is Naples. Like I said, you got airports all around you. You're close to Miami. You can be there in an hour and a half. You can be in Fort Lauderdale in an hour and a half. You can be in Tampa in 3 hours. You can be a Bucs fan, or you could be a Dolphin fan. I'd be going for the Dolphins. The other thing is, like, you've got all sorts of cool things for you in Florida. You got water, you got fishing, you got hunting, you can get a fan boat, and you got temperate climate that people are gonna say is hot, but I'm gonna say, you know what? Have you been to Missouri in the summertime? Because it's hot here too. So if you've been to Vegas in the summertime, it's hot as hell in Vegas. So these are some reasons why you may not wanna move to Florida. Do you agree? Do you not agree? If you do, let me know. If you don't, let me know. But if you're considering moving to Florida, consider all of those things. Consider that there's more cost in insurance, more cost in taxes, the price of homes have gone up, and you don't have many insurance options. So appreciate you watching the video until its entirety. We'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.